Hey guys, Shane here, Flight Simmer. Welcome to another episode of Test Drive. If you haven't caught one of these before, this is where we take a scenery, a utility, or an aircraft, and we'll take it for a spin around the block in all different sorts of simulators, and I'll give you my first impressions and opinions. Today we are in Xplane and we're checking out Justflight's PA28-161. That's right, it's the Warrior 2. So the third variant of the PA28 that Justflight have done, and the last one that they've actually brought across into Xplane 11. And as you can see, the 3D modeling, the texturing, the same as the Arrow and the Turbo, the Warrior is absolutely stunning and really taking advantage of the Xplane facilities to make the planes look awesome. And some of them to note are 4K texturing for the highest clarity of textures possible, real-time reflections, and also the use of PBR. Now, one of the questions you may have, if you've already got the Arrow 3 and the Turbo Arrow, why should I get the Warrior? Or, if you haven't got any, why should you get the Warrior? Other than having the cool name, the Warrior 2, it is synonymous around the world for a fantastic training aircraft. A couple of key things that make the Warrior 2 different than the other PA28s. One is that it has a tricycle undercarriage that is fixed, so it doesn't go up or down, it is totally fixed. The other one is that it has a fixed pitch engine, and it's 160 horsepower, and I guess those two things really makes this aircraft a good fit for training. Now, the team at Justflight have been so kind to give us a bunch of liveries. There is 8 in total. As you can see, there's something from the home country of Australia there. So there is 3 UK liveries, 1 US, 1 Germany, 1 France, 1 Canada, and 1 Australian livery. So lots to go around. So we've been saying all that. I think we need to jump into the cockpit and check out the menu, and then let's get this Warrior fighting up in the air. Welcome to the Warrior 2 cockpit. We're just going to close the door. I'll do that by the menu system, and we'll lock it down. We'll open up the window here because it'll get a bit stinky if we leave everything closed up. But you can open and close the passenger door and also the cargo door. So the menu system here, you can use a lot of things to bring up 2D gauges, such as the standard GPS in Xplane 11. We can change the reflections for the windscreen, so I actually leave them on and I love them in VR. They look awesome. That's the reflections for the gauges. I actually prefer those to be off, and turning a light on and off. You can also use a clickable and click on the light as well. Autopilot there. That one there is to change the QNH and also the autofill. So if you forget to change the left and right tank, it can do it automatically for you. One really cool thing that this aircraft is persistent, so you can bring up your fuel levels there. They will be the same as when you left the aircraft before, but also you can refuel, recharge your batteries, and check to see how your spark plugs, are they failing or all that is modeled. All your weights there. Next one, you can change and customize all your sounds. I prefer to leave the environment sounds are very low because the wind noises are high, but for the taxi I'll leave it turned up so you can hear all the rumbles and bumbles of the aircraft. You can do auto start and also the checklist as well. I've done many hours in these aircraft, so I'm not going to use a checklist today just because I'm a lazy pilot, that's all. Next one is the flight computer. Great to work out how your fuel burns and whatnot's going, so it gives you everything you need to know. Also, you can put a flight log in there so you can see all the mess around flights that I've been doing lately. You'll basically tie downs on and off, and you can also change your liveries from that menu as well. So time to get the Warrior started, and it's probably the easiest out of 3 to start. So we're going to turn it on to the right tank because that's where I got a little bit more fuel than the left. We'll put the mixture onto rich, turn the battery on, and you can hear it all wind up. Just checking the fuel in the tanks, looks good. Should be enough for the flight. We'll give it some throttle and turn her over. And there she goes. Starts really easy. One thing I will say with the Xplane version, the prop just kicks over. On the prepared air version, it rumbles around a little bit more, so it has a bit more life to it in the prepared. But other than that, it's pretty good. Let's turn that alternator on and we'll get our avionics up and running. So just switching on the GPS, you can most already see there's a flight plan in there. Like I said, it's persistent, so I actually did a trial flight and we're doing the same one again, and because it was the last flight I used in the GPS, it leaves it in there, which is quite a nice little thing. So we've been saying that we need to start taxiing and I'm moving along. So today's flight's going to be a very short one, but a beautiful scenic flight. We are in tie down 3 at iBlueYonder's recently released a Nantucket for Xplane 11. We've got some traffic on today for, I think it's ultimate traffic for Xplane, and we're flying all the way down to a block island via Martha's Vineyard. So should be a good flight. It's about 9:30 in the morning and it is clear skies. So one thing I should say about the Warrior 2, and it's the same as all the other PA28s, it is a breeze to taxi. Using my Cytec pedals, it goes where you need to go, and being a piston engine and not like a turbo or anything like that, you don't have to worry about getting the aircraft away from you. So it's a good aircraft to be taxiing around and looking around and looking at the scenery, looking at instruments, and you don't have to worry about that you're going to be traveling off the line, taxi line or the center line too much. So I have the environment sounds turned up so you can hear the rumble as we taxi, so I'll be quiet now to hold short so you can listen away. All configured for takeoff flaps set at 1, and we're pretty much going to do a left-hand turn up here, a bit of a teardrop turn. We'll fly over the airport so I can have a bit of a look at it, and we're going to fly up to 6,000 feet. We'll turn the autopilot on pretty much after we've done our turn. So we've been all Xplane takeoffs. Yeah. They're always interesting, all the takeoffs and landing on Xplane, because the aircraft goes all over the place, and that's because it's a prop, nothing to do with the Just Flight aircraft at all. So I'll be quiet now and we'll come back to you shortly. One really cool thing about making videos for YouTube is you get to go back and laugh at your departures, your takeoffs, your landings. It's always an absolute hoot. So I've actually trimmed the aircraft up. Should have done that before we've taken off, but using the Cytec wheel, works well with this aircraft. It is such a breeze. It doesn't take long to get the aircraft trim and stabilized. So we're going to make a left-hand turn just here once we get to just about 500 feet. So cracking over the beach. But this aircraft is very stable to fly, so for me to, once I've got the aircraft trimmed up, to make different turns and adjusting the throttle, the pitch, left and right, yaw, it is an absolute joy to fly. You don't need to put much input into the controls. So as you can see, I'm barely touching the yoke, and it's doing the left-hand turn just as I need it. So absolutely fantastic. So just making the adjustments now, but this aircraft is a breeze and such a joy to fly. So the airport should be coming into view very shortly. I'll leave a link in the description below, and you can check out Nantucket. It is absolutely gorgeous place to fly around. It's not just the airport, the whole island has been model, so which is pretty cool. So within saying that, we need to turn the autopilot up. So putting into a GPS mode down here, and we'll bring the autopilot up in a sec. We'll get rid of the yoke. And turn it on, and we're just going to put it onto nav mode, and that's pretty much all there is. I will say the white button to the top right, or the autopilot section, is your altitude hold, so I must not forget that. So within saying that, it's time to look at the outside or the exterior of the aircraft as we fly over Nantucket and say goodbye. So let's take a look. Welcome back to the cockpit. Doesn't she look beautiful in the air, the old Warrior? So we're going to take a look around and give you a bit more of the in-depth view of the cockpit. So as you can see, the textures on this aircraft look absolutely awesome. I love the shadowing work here. You can actually turn the yokes on and off, but everything is clickable. Even the circuit breakers are all clickable, and you can actually pull them out and give yourself different failures, which is absolutely cool. But everything works in this aircraft and has been modeled. Also, it's a standard GPS, but you can purchase separately the XP Reality GPS, and it will work with this aircraft. So we'll just go down a little bit so you can see a bit more of the aircraft. We can work out the buttons, but the absolute textures are used on everything. The aircraft performs really well in the sim, considering that everything is to the highest quality. So sort of get a bit of an angle so you can see that all the gauges and everything is all 3D. Excuse the movements around the cockpit there. Still getting used to what buttons you need to push for Xplane. So we'll try to get down so you can see. One of the really cool things, and it's throughout this aircraft and all the different sims, is that, you know, you can see all the dirt on the floor, like what people left on their shoes behind. How dare you bring dirty shoes into this aircraft? It's absolutely beautiful. So the red interior, it reflects everywhere. It makes the cockpit a little bit red. Oh, we've jumped out. Need to get back in, but look at that. Absolutely love it. And the thing is, if you actually read on the fire extinguisher, it will actually, you can read it, and it's like a pen's written on it, that this is the fire extinguisher for this aircraft, which is really cool. So everything moves that should move. You can actually click the light on there, but we'll see if we can walk through to the back. I love the seat belts. The seat belts that are modelled in this thing are absolutely insane, but I want to keep jumping out of the cockpit by the looks of it. Forward. There we go. we're going forward there. But the textures on the seats, I want to go back and get a bit of a view. You know, gotta love that 60s, 70s fiery fire hydrant red, you know. Goes well with the old curtains there at the back there. But even the certificate or airworthiness, you can read every single piece of that. It's absolutely phenomenal. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a gist of what the aircraft looks like inside and out. But everything is modelled and it looks superb. So with in saying that, let's continue on our flight. When I get back in my seat, we'll keep tracking along. So when the sun goes down, the lights come out, and it's time to land this thing. I thought I'd speed up the time a little bit to showcase the lighting. I've got the red dome light up about halfway, so you can see a little bit of a glow, and it's not overbearing. But we'll try to see if we can stick this landing into Block Island. And I've got the backlights on the instruments probably about halfway up. As well, but the aircraft's trimmed, we're a little bit higher, so trying to get down a little bit, and it's a short runway with a bit of a curve. So thinking of time, I haven't gone through the whole feature set of this aircraft. I will leave a link to the Just Flight website. You can go and take a look. But this is an absolute study GA aircraft, and everything is being modelled from systems to buttons to the flight characteristics of the aircraft, and it is a load of fun to fly and has great immersion. So I'll leave a link below, but I'll be quiet now so you can enjoy the final approach to the landing, and we'll throw a replay in the end and see how I did. Not too bad, that was a lot of fun. So we'll check out the replay and I'll come back to you with my final thoughts. how good did those lights look? The nav lights look absolutely awesome on touchdown. So the Warrior 2 is just under $40 US. So I think it's absolutely awesome value for money, considering it's a study level GA sim and everything it has to offer. So I give it a big thumbs up for value, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun if you decide to pick it up. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned. You can check out to see what I'm up to at my Facebook page during the week. And if you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well. So thank you very much for watching another test drive video, and stay tuned for the next one, and have an awesome day. Cheers. Goodbye.